Good evening, folks. This is Cloud Chartist on July 5th, 4th of July weekend. I apologize if my voice sounds a little gravelly, and I'm going to try not to cough or sneeze throughout this presentation, but I am nursing a bit of a summer cold at the moment, which is kind of a mixed blessing because it forced me to get a lot of sleep over the weekend, so I'll be fresh and ready for some hopefully good trading this week. So we're starting off with the CL chart, light sweet crude. Very interesting chart. This is the larger picture. Let me zoom in for a close-up. So we lost the Tenkan Sen last week, and that was when that happened. It was sort of key, as I mentioned previously, that until we lost the Tenkan Sen, we were just moving sideways. But the loss of the Tenkan Sen, this blue line here, set us up for the potential to be drawn down towards the flat Kijun Sen below. As this chart is overall bearish under the cloud, we could expect a bearish movement if we encounter a loss of support, and that's exactly what happened. As you see, previously the price action had been above the Tenkan Sen for quite some time, and the Tenkan Sen had been acting as support until last week when this happened. So what now? We can expect there is a good potential for us to test the Kijun Sen, the flat Kijun Sen down below at 52.50. Why might not this happen? We see over here, if you scroll over to the first quarter of the screen to the left here, and I hope you can see my crosshairs, we have this red line here that looks like it's joining this red candle. That red line is called the Chikou span. It represents price time shifted 26 periods into the past. So current price action, time shifted 26 periods into the past, so 26 weeks in this case. We see that the Chikou is coming and finding support at the top of this candle. In fact, right at the top of the wick of the candle. There's a really tiny bottoming wick on this current candle. We didn't quite close on the low. The low was 55.41 and we closed at 55.52, so slightly off the lows. But that's why it stopped selling last week, potentially, possibly. But we noticed that the next candle that will be in line with the Chikou when this week's candle is open is down here. On the top of the candle is the close is at, let's see, the open was at 52.61, and you see 52.50 was the Kijun Sen here, so it's entirely likely that we could come down to the 52.50, 52.60 area and then find support down there. We could sell below that as well, but I'm expecting probably that we'll close the week within above that range. It would be impressive to break through the Kijun Sen completely over the week, although that's only, $3 move, so it's entirely possible that we could sell below. If we do sell beyond the Kijun Sen here, we could find support at a variety of levels, maybe 48.32. We have prior support. You can see where these tails came into effect. Even above that, we have another prior support level that this candle, the 223 candle, 3-2 candle, and this 4-6 candle all came in to found some support around 49.31 area. So, but the key level is 52.50, and that would be a target if you are looking to short this at the open or sometime early in the week. Let's move on. Look at the ES. Overview is that it's an incredibly bullish, beautiful, bullish uptrend chart. I'll zoom in to get closer. If you follow my intra-week, by the way, if you're new to watching my broadcasts and you are not following me on Ticker TV and you are interested in my work, you might want to do so, because Ticker TV will alert you whenever I go live, and I go live pretty much every day and talk about setups that are happening, you know, live, like especially with crude. I've been doing natty gas lately also, so you can. It's really easy to follow me on Ticker TV. You just have to give them your email address. You don't have to give them your firstborn or anything like that. And they'll just send you an email whenever I go live. But anyway, so back to the ES. We see that it's, you know, similar to crude, we lost the Tenkan-sen. In fact, we gapped down significantly last weekend. So we were never able to fill the gap between gapping down. We did come down and test slightly below the Kijun-sen here, and then put in a doji type, long leg spinning top type doji in between the Tenkan-sen and the Kijun-sen here. So at the moment we have a pretty well defined range between 2090.38, the Tenkan-sen, and 2052.13, the Kijun-sen. Those should provide resistance and support for the week, unless we can break either one of those. Overall, the chart is still fully bullish, except for being under the Tenkan-sen is slightly less bullish, and the fact that the Tenkan-sen is pointing down is slightly less bullish. Also of note, we see that the nature of the cloud. The cloud is somewhat flat here. It's still rising, but it's sort of flat for a little while, and then goes for a little rise later in August. Pardon me, then gets sort of flat again, then kind of ramps up into the fall, into October. So we could see some more, you know, down. We could go all the way down and test the cloud without the chart becoming bearish, and then continue sideways in this range, and then move higher into the fall. Entirely possible. We see the Chikou span over here, this red line. Is sort of poking into this last week's candle, like it's inserted into the candle, so it's not technically really finding support at it. But the next candle that it's going to be at when the new week opens is a little bit lower, and that's around the level of where we put in the bottoming tail, and then the top of that candle is near the lows of last week's candle. Pardon me, I'm attempting not to cough. So ES is bullish but sideways here. Let's look at the YM. Similar to the ES, except that we lost the Kijun-sen. We notice the Chikou could come is under the candles, but is going to come into Tenkan-sen support, and in fact did come into Tenkan-sen support, and that's probably why we got all this buying up to this level. We do have a big gap to fill here. And we do have a pointing down Tenkan-sen. We have similar configuration of the cloud flat here. So if we do get more selling, we could come down and test the cloud. It's entirely possible. 172.12. And look for the Kijun-sen to act as potential resistance until we can get back over that. Pardon me, I'm actually going to cough. I apologize. All right. NASDAQ. Let's similar to the other two indexes that we've been showing. NASDAQ was unable to did not lose the Kijun-sen. Kijun-sen, in fact, way much lower on NASDAQ. So showing some relative strength against the Dow. But underneath the Tenkan-sen here, which is flat and not pointing down as the other ones, but we'll see what happens when it reopens. So look for the Tenkan-sen to provide resistance at 44.0725 currently. Pardon me. I'm sorry, it's not at 40. It's at 44. It's at 443.88 is where it is at the moment. All right. What else? Let's look at the Russell. Pity me. I'm just kidding. So the Russell, we see that put in a very bearish candle after this potential reversal candle that was indeed a confirmed reversal. I mentioned that could be a potential reversal last week, and indeed it did reverse. Closed underneath the Tenkan-sen support. A little bit of a bottoming tail, but we could come down and test the 12-15-90 Kijun-sen below. Overall, the chart is still fully bullish. Let's look at gold. Gold still in the bear camp underneath the cloud. There was a lot of global risk events going on recently, and it doesn't seem to make anyone think that they need to buy more gold. So we're still chopping around underneath the cloud, underneath the Tenkan-sen. 2 weeks ago, we did make an attempt to break over the Tenkan-sen, but then we reversed and closed lower. And then after a little bit of a trip towards the Tenkan-sen, I recommended taking a short at 1193.90, but we didn't make it all the way up there. We only made it to about 1188, and then let's see what the high was, 1187.60. Then we reversed and closed lower. So we do have a fair amount of support in the 1158 area. You can see from the bottoming tails here. So it'll be interesting to see if we do break below the 1158 area. We do also have of note is a bit of an arch in the upcoming cloud. So it's possible that if we do see some gold buyers coming in, if they're able to get over 1193.90, they could come up and try to test the shape of the cloud. So there's a couple of different scenarios for you. But I'm going to have to side with the bearish scenario, as this chart is fully bearish in Ichimoku terms. You notice that the Chico span, the red line representing price, time shifted 26 periods into the past, is below everything, has no support here. Let's look at silver. Let me get rid of my fibs. Silver, like gold, is fully bearish here. We see that, wow, I only have 2 viewers. We see that we're in a downtrend. Price has been unable to make a higher high and a higher low. So there's nothing to recommend that silver should go higher here. We have the Tenkan-sen tipping down. We do have a flat Kijun-sen above, which could suggest that price be attracted back towards it, but we're really not that far away from the cloud or equilibrium here on silver. Let's look at some treasury bonds, 30-year treasury bonds. So after 2 weeks ago, we put in a very bearish candle. Last week, we put in a inside candle, which was a long-legged spinning top type doji candle. Pardon me. I hate for you to have to hear that, but so if we do find buyers, if we do indeed have a risk-off environment coming up, we could test the Tenkan-sen here above at 152.24, which I would probably be a seller at, 152.24 area on ZB. One of my premium room members made an excellent call. He said that he expected that ZB would probably test 150.08, and he was right on the money there. That's the 30-year treasury bonds. Let's look at the 10-year notes. And pardon my drawings. So the 10-year, wow, I didn't even look at this last week. That's very interesting. So 2 weeks ago, I mentioned that I thought Xi'an was a very nice short setup here, as it was unable to break into the cloud. And indeed, it was a beautiful short setup for all of that week. It looks really easy here, but it was not at all easy because it was very choppy throughout the week. but we did close on the lows. And then last week, we were all over the place. And we closed right at the Tenkan-sen, the downward-facing Tenkan-sen. So this is technically what I will call a Tenkan smackdown setup. It's one of my favorite trading setups. It's when we have an existing downtrend and then I mean, this is not really a clear existing downtrend, so it's not perfect, but it's also the weekly. So, but when we get a bounce and a rejection from the Tenkan-sen, it's a nice short setup here. I'm sorry, someone's teasing me on Twitter. So I would look to short the Xian chart, but who knows what's going to happen with the Greek situation and how things are going to open up. We could gap up completely above this. We gap up above the cloud, and then things would be completely different. But for now, this chart is bearish. And a very long-legged spinning top. Let's look at some of the grains because we got some very huge moves. Let's look at soybeans first. So everybody knows that there's been a lot of rain in the Midwest, South Midwest, wreaking havoc on crops, corn and wheat and whatnot. The USDA report came out last week, and I believe that's correct. And so we saw a lot of upside action on the grains. So this chart is overall bearish, and actually we found resistance right at the cloud for soybeans. So it would be interesting to see this week if price action can actually get going into the cloud or if it's rejected from the cloud. We have a potential bull cross under here. We see the Tenkan-sen has been supporting price action for the last 2 weeks, and if it crosses over the Kijun-sen, it would be a bullish signal, although a weak bullish signal since the indicators are under the cloud. We also have the Chicago span over here coming into this red bearish candle. In order for price action to go higher, we need it to break through these candles and both the Tenkan-sen and the Kijun-sen. Now for the big one, corn. Corn made a ridiculous break, huge gap up over the top of the cloud. So, statistically speaking, it is very unusual for an Ichimoku chart for a breakout over a flat cloud like this to be sustained. I'm not saying that corn necessarily plays by the rules because of the weather situations and whatnot. I actually haven't really looked back to see whether historically corn is able to hold its gaps over clouds like this. So, but for now, we went from bearish under the cloud to neutral inside the cloud to bullish over the cloud. We still have the indicators inside the cloud, so it's not fully bullish, and the Chicago is still under the cloud. So it's possible, if we do move higher, that when the Chicago runs into the cloud, which will be around this 447, 448 area, price might be thwarted. And then we could see a reversal down back towards the flat cloud below at 420.50. I'll have to do wheat. And this is sort of what I was talking about. Wheat blasted up and through the cloud, but was unable to close over the flat cloud. This is more typical of what you see in Ichimoku charts. So we do see also that the Chicago is stuck here underneath this, or just sort of stabbing into this red candle here. We do have potential for a bullish cross here. You see that the Tenkan-sen is crossed into the Kijun-sen here. All right. I'll just go over a couple more and then wrap it. You guys are probably tired of hearing me, my croaky voice. The dollar. bullish close above the Tenkan Sen and the Kijun Sen, although it could be a potential reversal candle. We see that we do have a bear cross as well. So this chart is not reflecting the current huge gap down in the euro that's occurring right now. The euro is currently priced at 109.77 after the Greek referendum vote of no. So the dollar will probably actually put in a when it opens a high tail up here, but then we'll see what happens. But overall, fully bullish. In fact, it looks like a pretty bullish chart in general in Ichimoku terms, except for the bear cross here. Let's look at the Nikkei. Nikkei put in an all-new high last week and 2 weeks ago, and then reversed, but it still was able to hold the Tenkan Sen and put in a significant bounce. If we do get more selling, I would be looking at the Tenkan Sen to buy 20023. Still fully bullish in Ichimoku terms on the Nikkei. And I haven't mentioned coffee in a couple weeks, so let's look at coffee real quick. Bear flagging. Just chopping around underneath the Tenkan Sen. Not much to see. Looks like it could spill. Unless it gets back over the Tenkan Sen at 133.70. Looks like prices could go a lot lower for coffee. Alright, well, I'm going to wrap it up there. I know people only have an attention span of a certain amount of time. It's been 20 minutes and I'm losing my voice, so I did want to let you know before I go that I do have a special promotion going on right now, a special 4th of July, middle of the summer promotion for new members to join my chat room for only $99 a month. And if you do join right now, you can lock in that $99 rate for as long as you remain subscribed. So regular rate for members in my room is $149, so you're locking in significant savings by joining now. So if you've been thinking about joining,
it's a really good deal. You should join.
Yeah, it is a good deal right now. A lot of my members are actually on European vacations at the moment. So if you want special attention from me, it's a really great time to learn. Also, while we're in summer trading time, if you want to really study Ichimoku, get up to speed, it's a good time. Things are a little bit slow, and there's, I have time to pay attention to you. Anyway, thanks for joining me and watching my video, and good luck trading this week. And check out my website, cloudchartist.com, and I will be posting a link to that special offer for a $99 membership on Twitter. And if you're watching this video because you're on my mailing list, you'll be getting the offer there as well. And if you, for some reason, can't find the offer somewhere, you can hit me up via email, cloudchartist@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to respond. Okay, take care.